so
Long
much.
time ago.
But that was the last time I saw you. It was a long time ago.
Very true.
Rest
Good to
in
see.
What an incredible man, dude.
Yeah, crazy, crazy.
Crazy.
It's it's interesting because when me and Anwar were speaking before, so when I was in Congo for 3 months, and I was like calling Anwar every day, speaking to Anwar every day, and like introducing Anwar to the kids, and I don't know, maybe Anwar's signal is crazy where he is. Introducing Anwar to the kids, and the kids had never seen anybody with his skin complexion before. They'd never seen anybody with my skin complexion before. They'd never seen anybody with his skin complexion before. And they were saying, oh, like we have white friends now. Like I don't know where he's gone. He'll come back. But they were saying we have a white friend. They were like, this is an anomaly because the camps, in the camps, there's only Congolese people, right? So even me, I get called Mzungu. Mzungu means foreigner, right? I'll get called Mzungu because they don't see anybody like that, like me from there. And I said to them, oh, Anwar's your friend now. They said, oh, we got white friends. I said, yeah. Anwar's going to help you guys out more than you know. We're all going to do it together. And they said, help us out of what? And I said, you know, you don't have houses and stuff. And they were like, oh, we thought the tents were our houses now because they had houses before. Then the volcano erupted, destroyed their houses. Now they live in the tents. Then they just think, oh, well, the tents are our houses.
Yeah.
So we were spending time with them every day. They don't know that we're going to build them a house. They just know that they've got friends. So like, even when we gave the houses to the people that we built the houses for, the first 4 people, we didn't tell them that we were going to give them houses. So we just said one day, all right, cool. Tomorrow meet us here, and then we'll give you a house. So
But
we
the
did.
most incredible thing is even saying in that phrase of being like, we're gonna give you a house. It's like, yeah, but this is a house enough already. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the fact. And like, and again, you've sent me a few videos of just like that. It's not even shock or disbelief. It's just pure love, acceptance, gratitude. Like just, I mean, again, it's.
Can you? He's saying, can you bring him again? He's requested again.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Maybe.
Feel like I'm about to be 30 because I'm like, what am I doing? What is this? I always used to be so up with the tech, and I'm like, what is this?
Yo.
Sorry, I got disconnected. My bad.
Okay.
I was explaining how you were speaking to the kids. You were happy to meet the kids, and you were speaking to the kids down there.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear what you were. I only heard a little bit. Tail end.
I was basically saying how me and you were speaking every day while I was down there, and we were just trying to work out how best we could solve the problems, what was happening down there. And so that's how we've kind of got to this give to Goma, is we were just like, well, us and our friends can just give a little something for us, but for those people, it's their whole house, whole world for them. And so Anwar was like, yeah, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my sisters to do this. I'm going to get all these different people. Earlier, you're like, right, I'm going to get all these people to do this. And all we need is more people to care, and we can solve the problem. There is 25,000 people displaced. I aim with this like initial phase, I aim to build, that we together can build 100 homes, and 100 homes is going to house nearly 1,000 people. An average family.
Wait. How much? Sorry, I think my connection died.
100 homes will rehouse nearly 1,000 people, because an average family is anywhere between 6 to 10 people. So though the houses that will get built will be 2-bedroom houses with a living room or whatever, they'll probably make the living room into another bedroom anyway.
So like a two-bedroom house, which is what I'm gonna donate. Like that's the next thing I'm gonna donate, right?
Mm-hmm.
A 2-bedroom house, which is $8,000, right? Like
all in.
And a 1-bedroom apartment in New York is like it's the discrepancy is insane, but also like I know the joy between someone buying that, and it's just a completely different thing. Again, like you said, a tent, that's a house. A home is anywhere that you feel safe enough, but giving people the gift of actually having proper, like you know, and also giving them the means to grow in so many ways. Because again, a tent in that kind of climate, it's hard, it's difficult to be able to give. Again, how many people have been displaced by this, again, natural occurrence, which, you know, I grew up in England. I never had an earthquake, and you know, Shaggy, like I'd never seen an earthquake or a hurricane,
Right.
tsunami, or any of these things. I
Right.
mean,
Let alone a volcano.
a
So
vol-
right. Imagine you're sleeping in a volcano. So these are the houses that we're going to have built, and each one of these, all in with a water tank, solar electricity system, water.
so wait, are they all like, are they all just like, are they all renewable energy?
Yeah, they're all solar.
Oh, that's so good.
They're all solar, and they have a water catchment system as well. So these houses, and what I'll do is I'll switch my phone back around while I find pictures of the inside.
More expensive out there to make it solar than it is not.
Well, the problem is where they live,
Yeah.
there's no electricity.
Yeah.
So the only power lines that there are go to the city and only the city. So there's nothing in the rural area. So either you have solar or you don't have electricity. So it's just that. It's just that simple. It's not like there's like a bunch of power lines they're hooked up to be able to
Solar
elect-
expensive, or like in
Um,
terms of,
so
surely that's expensive than the actual house that you're building.
well, I mean, it's renewable, so it's expensive to set it up, but then once it's in and you've got the battery, you have the electrics in the whole house just connected to it's like a car battery basically, and that
Right.
stores power each day to power the house for each day. So as soon as it's set up, it's fine, but like to actually put a full solar system in a house, it's around $500 to $600, but the average annual salary there is $800 a year. So it's like, choose electricity, you're going to choose food, you know?
Like $800 a year is the annual salary when you look at the minimum wage in any other country. I mean, again, comparing it, I mean, it's important, but again, this kind of anything that anyone do, whether it's spread awareness, anything is better.
Yeah.
Is
Every dollar counts.
every
Yeah.
dollar
Chaka,
counts.
I had a question for you, just to and like, you know, just to give some knowledge to whoever's watching as well. Like, I don't know if you talked about this already. I obviously am a little bit late, but how many people are being affected right now in the Congo by the earth? I mean, by the volcano.
Well,
25,000 people have been displaced. So
Wow.
20
millions have been affected though, right?
millions of people. Actually, the bigger problem in Congo is millions of people have been affected. Millions of people have been affected in Goma by the volcano because it affected a business, like the lava burnt down the road, like that.
Yeah, the roads, exactly. Yeah.
But the bigger problem in Congo right now is actually starvation. There's 27 million people in Congo right now affected by a hunger shortage, a food shortage, and they have a hunger crisis there. And it's the biggest humanitarian crisis in the world right now. So it's now surpassing Yemen. So, like the kids in the camps. So there's levels, right? But the people in the camps are the worst affected because not only do they not have a farm, they don't have a house, they don't have electricity, they don't have sanitation, any amenity, they don't have healthcare, and they work all day farms growing potatoes and beans for like
But
$1.
not themselves though, generally. Like it's their, I mean, oh no, sorry. Something.
Well, before they had a farm and they had a house.
Yeah.
Now they have a farm and they have no house. So they
Mm.
work on other people's farms that weren't burned down, but what they're selling is potatoes and beans that don't really fetch a lot of money. So on average, an average family survives on $2.50 a day there. So a whole family, $2.50 each day. And it's like backbreaking work because one of the little girls, she's 15, but she's short, that we rehoused, Janice, she's broke her back because ever since, you know, she's been old enough to be able to carry stuff, she's been carrying these huge sacks of potatoes from the farm, like 5-6 miles every day, which has stunted her growth. Now we've put her in a house and she doesn't have to do that work anymore because she's helping us with the kids that we're going to build an orphanage for. So that's like one little thing that we've solved. But with 25,000 people displaced, it's like an entire kind of system collapse there. you
Like
know?
when you look at the example of one person, like you can understand or like at least get a picture of what one person's life is like, even though we can't actually even be there and really feel it.
Hmm.
Imagine that in terms of that many people. I mean, a lot
Right.
of worse off, or I mean, hopefully better, but either way, it's not
If I show you this
about
to give you
rights.
some
Yeah,
context. So this
yeah.
is the volcano here, right? And then that is the lava flow there, and then that is the survivors camp. So nobody lived there before. So if I just zoom in a bit, you're gonna see the volcano erupted, or everybody used to live here, right? And then their houses were destroyed, and now you can see they're all living in tents here.
So like in terms of like education, in
Hmm.
any what's happened there, either way.
There's nothing.
No,
There's no school. There's no anything because, like,
but again, that's it. It's about survival. It's not about.
yeah, it's just literally they're living hand to mouth, day to day. There's no like future or whatever. Like in the camps, a lot of not even a lot of children, a lot of people are malnourished and starving to death.
Yeah.
And like, there's only so much you can live. Imagine if I said to you, Anwar, and you, Cara, you have to eat every single day for the rest of your lives potatoes. There's no green juice. There's nothing. It's just potatoes, 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 and beans every single day. That's what these kids are getting. And their parents, like their mothers, are getting enough nutrients to be able to breastfeed them properly, like with proper nutrients. So the kids are really malnourished. It's horrible, man. And the thing is that in
Yeah, but
order to
also not even like when you say potatoes, it's probably also the amount. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I love potatoes and I love beans, but also to the same point where like there when there's a moment that I feel hungry,
Mhm,
I like again that whole thing about being hangry, right? I get angry because I hate that feeling, but that's
mhm,
a constant. That's not even a like the fact that there's like a minute orgasm like that's just it's a completely different, especially when you have nothing, when you're a mother and you're also in a like in a type of environment where you need to have energy, you need to have sustenance in many different ways, especially for doing that amount of work, more than I've definitely ever done.
oh, I think I think I think Jaden might be here. Um, I don't know if he's
How do
there.
you see
If
that?
he's there, and add him. I don't know him, but obviously you, Cara, and you,
How
Anwar.
do you see that?
Um,
I'm
I
so
don't.
bad with
If he is here, Jadan.
Let me show you
Look,
this.
I wanted to ask you a question as well, bro. About
Yeah.
so what are all the NGOs doing? What are people doing to help this type of stuff? Not
Um,
not
Not enough. Sorry.
when
no, not at all. I think
when
from what we.
I was there and I was in the camps every day. I'm not gonna say what they. I'm not gonna say what they weren't doing, but I'm gonna say when I was there, I didn't see them.
Yeah,
I was in there. I was in the camps every single day, and I didn't really see them. That's just my personal experience. But we were in there every single day from 8 a.m. until it got dark every single day in different camps, and we didn't really see them. So I
yeah.
don't particularly know them or particularly work with them. It's
No,
not my what they are or they're not doing, but I didn't
yeah.
see them. I was there.
No, point is that also there's not much help going to these people. Like at all. So it's important for all of us to come together as much as we can.
Not even the awareness. This is the stuff that needs to be spoken about, that needs to be like talked about, whether like everyone's so wrapped up in obviously COVID is the pandemic or politics, but like guys, that's luxury issues at this point in terms of what people are actually really going through. So I don't
If I
know.
if I show you just some of the pictures, so these are the children that we've adopted. There's 22 of them. Um, they're very cool and amazing. I don't know if it will focus. Come on, focus,
Well,
focus.
I feel like already I can see them all smiling though.
Yeah, because when they came, they was depressed, and now they're more happy because they like getting fed every day, and they get to play games, and we got them all new clothes, and so they're the children that we adopted, and yeah, they're just amazing. I don't know if I can zoom now. Yeah, they're just amazing, beautiful children. And then um, the children in the camp every single day, they're just trying to fight for food. Basically, they're still happy and stuff, but just to give you some context or some idea, that's a camp there. That's one of the camps there. So people are living in these tents on lava rock floor. And as you can see, it's a big percentage of the population that's actually in a camp. If you look at the size of that compared to how many houses are there, a lot more people are in camps now than are actually just living there. That was when people was initially having to flee the volcano, like the night that it erupted.
How
Uh,
long was that going on for? Just because I know about certain like volcanoes, but like I'm not actually at all well educated in terms of like what that is like. So when it erupts, like how obviously it's of course lava coming out of, but how long does it last for in terms of like obviously the danger, how many people probably
Um, it takes about to actually cool down. It takes months to cool down. So I got there in September. It erupted in May. There was still lava that was still hot
how
and
far does
still.
it spread?
How far? What?
How far does it spread? Does that make sense? Like how far does it reach?
Miles, miles and miles and miles. Like it spread like 10 miles in every direction. So if you look there, there's more lava there than there is people living. So that's the camp there. Right? All of that is camp. And then as you can see, that's all lava there. So then this is the land that we've bought to build the orphanage on, which is 2 acres of land where the kids are going to be able to live and play. But like you can see, it's just relentless. It just took out everybody's houses. That's like lava burning people's houses down. So it's like actually that was a house there.
So, like, obviously, I think like houses is the most important thing, and giving people shelter and means to just again, like food obviously is as important. But again, with a volcano, right? Like again, another good thing would be to build, like land to grow anything to be able to survive, right? Because when a volcano erupts, doesn't make it makes the soil more. What's the
Well,
word?
it makes the soil completely unusable. It
Or
makes the soil completely unusable until it's completely cooled down.
right, right, right. That's a
It
long,
takes
which
and but then it takes years. You have to break through the lava rock to get back to the soil. So like all of this here, this is all lava rock, all of that, and you see it flows all the way down to the city. That's a big lava flow coming from the volcano. Now you can see how big the scale of displacement is. That's a camp there. That's a camp there. That's a camp there, and that's a camp there. So they're all kind of scattered. So you can see there's actually as many people living in a camp. Let me try and focus this. Yeah, there's as many people living in a camp as there are people living in homes now. And that's kind of one of the bigger problems that we're having is that it's such a vast scale, and it's kind of hard to quantify. Look, that's a lava flow there, and then that's where people have moved to. They didn't originally live there.
can
Um,
another question. So, when we reach the goal of 1 million, what will that do? Like, what can that do? As in, that can do a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. But if you could give everyone
so
like, yeah, is
let,
that
let, let me give you some figures. So one house is $8,000 US, and all in, well, with the paint is about $8,400.
one
Um,
house like said eight, then a family of 8 or 6?
so we just put some people in some houses, and we put in each house we put a family, but then other family members came to start living at the house, right? So if you're living in a tent and then there's a house just there, you're gonna go and live in the house with your
Yeah, yeah,
friends.
of course. Yeah.
So each house will hold about 8 to 10 people in the house, because in the kids' room there's bunk beds. So like you have 2 kids on the top bunk, 2 kids on the bottom bunk. That's 4 kids. You have the mother and father in the other room. That's 6 people, and then you might have like their aunt or their grandma or whatever, and their granddad living in the living room now. So then you've got like 8 people in the house. So if we build 100 houses, that's that's going to cost $800,000, around $850,000 with all of the paint. So if we build that many houses, then we are able to rehome nearly 1,000 people. That's like 1,000 people. So it's our
whose lives not only like you're not only making easier, but like saving lives. You're saving lives either way.
well, if
And
you're
Living,
over time, you know,
yeah.
have to sustain that, and hopefully we can get enough money to be able to continue to help them, you know.
right. I mean, what I should probably do, just to give people context, is if it can work. Hang on. I'm trying to see if this is the right version. Is actually show people the video so they can see kind of the thing. There we go. So let me start it again.
I wish we could put it on the thing, like mirror it. That will happen.
I know.
Sorry.
This is the video anyway.
When the skies above Goa turned an ominous color. A volcano beneath Mount Niragongo expelled streams of lava. Hundreds of homes were buried or burnt.
There is nothing. The house is not there. All their belongings, their life investment is not there, and people are crushed. On the 22nd of May, 2021, the Niragongo volcano erupted in Goma. 10,000 people had their houses and their farms destroyed. Now, most of them are living in makeshift tents and camps with no electricity, very little food, and not enough support. The local government has identified 20 orphan children who need support and a home to live in. We are not going to build them a home, but try to build as many homes for as many people in the camps as possible. Homes cost $8,000 all in, with 2 bedrooms, furniture, solar electricity, showers, toilet, and a living room. Let's get as many people out of tents and into homes as possible. Thank you for supporting. We can make a difference. Just share this and donate whatever you can. #GiveToGoma.
So like, it's interesting because where those houses are, right next to it is that huge camp. So we took some women out of that camp and put them into houses, and there's a vast difference in their lives. They went from being like, life is horrible, to like, this is the best thing that could ever happen to me. And so I'm like, well, actually, we can do that on a bigger scale, and then we can also start a farming project so that people will be able to. So I don't know if you noticed, when it zoomed out, then in front of those houses is a farm. So we bought them a farm, so they have a farm and they can now grow food and eat forever, rather than have to like give food all the time. You just want to give them the means to be able to feed themselves, and then that's it. They don't need us anymore. I think that's the main point, you know.
Can I ask you a question? And this might be completely wrong, but I feel like in terms of when it's like a natural disaster, and I don't know why, like, I don't know, I feel, I could say I feel ignorant for not knowing about this before you told me about it, but generally in terms of when things happen, whether it's like a civil war, let's say, or in terms of a crisis of like refugees, there's more known about it, or at least there's more effort put into it by people. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. Like, this is obviously an amazing effort, but with how long that's been and how many people are still.
It depends on where it is. If, like, I'll give you an example. There was a volcano eruption in Spain not so long ago, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's Spain. Let's kind of help the people to rebuild houses and resettle them, etc., etc."
Where was that? Because
it was in Spain, or it was in Portugal. It was like literally 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and so lava came out, and you know, a lot of people had their houses destroyed, but a lot of people also have insurance. They have, you know, support from the government to be able to help. to rehouse themselves, like they
Yeah.
in hotels for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Whereas and then if you look at when the Nostradamus, you know, the roof in Paris, that cathedral, Nostradamus, the roof burning, and
Yeah.
everybody's pledging money and everybody's giving money. But then if something's happening in Congo, it's like, ooh, okay, we'll speak about it for one day in the news, and then nobody's spoken about it since. So these people have been displaced for like a whole year, basically. It happened in May, so they've been displaced for like 7 months, 8 months.
Perfect example. And look, that cathedral burning down, you know, you saw it everywhere, and it was a terrible sight to see, but it was everywhere. Like, and again, but no, like it's a landmark, it's a beautiful thing, but it's not putting people out of their homes, out of their jobs, out of their resources to live. It's a
Yeah,
very, very different thing. And that has been rebuilt quicker than anything, that people have basically given hundreds of millions of euros. I could be wrong about that, but that's like, to rebuild that faster than
Than people's houses, right? And people aren't allowed to live in churches, generally speaking. So it's just, you know, a place to go and worship. And like,
right, but it's not. It's, yeah, yeah.
how me and Anwar got together is because I was always speaking about what was going on in Palestine, and he was always speaking about what was going on in Palestine. And it's like we've agreed that if things happen in particular areas of the world, like in Africa, like in Palestine, like in West Papua, we just don't give it any attention. But if it happens in North America, if it happens in Europe, if it happens in Australia, then we all, the whole world talks about it.
Yeah. You know what? I know this sounds like there was a period of time a lot where I just reading the news or like paying attention to so many things that were going on in the world made me feel like I could feel like know what was going on constantly. But for someone that also could, like, there was so many things I could, there was always obviously bad news, but things that I knew, that obviously news is curated in so many ways, but you don't actually, the real news. That's why Twitter, the social media has so much good for that. Like, I remember, like, so I don't know, there's a while back, there was, you know, the genocide of the Yazidi girls. Like, it was a long, long time ago, but no one spoke about it. All these things that happen that you find out about later, and you're like, how is that not news? More so, what is news? News is what's curated by what, like, but that's
News,
why,
news
yeah,
is now curated by corporations. It's not what is actually important to all of us.
by the people. It's by,
Well, all of us care if we are shown things. If we're not shown it, we can't care about it, right? And
some
so,
I mean, I do. No. I guarantee most people would and should or would care if they actually were like there.
well,
But
most people don't know about volcanoes, for instance, and living in proximity to a volcano, like what actually happens and what actually happens after that. So, like,
yeah, but right, when I say most people wouldn't care, they wouldn't care to know. They'd rather just not know,
I
yeah,
also,
which
yeah, I
like
also know
as
people
bad.
know about like what's happening with the coltan and all the stuff in the Congo in general. You know, in certain places they don't want to shed light on certain situations in certain places because it uh, will show the world, you know, other travesties that are being taken. I mean, pushed forward by like the countries that pretend to be, you know, the savers of the world. You know?
Again, it goes against people making money off
Yeah.
people suffering, right? And like, I don't know, there was something the other day. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the girls that climbed the Shard, the tallest building in London, to protest Shell drilling, right? That was something that was, to me, sorry, just like as a woman, like that's a superhero movie. Like women scaling the Shard to the top where they ran out of rope, so they had to free climb it, you know, to put up a banner which single-handedly stopped Shell from being able to drill in the Arctic. That was news for a second, but no one really knows about that at all. You know what I mean? And obviously there's good and bad news, but there are certain things where it's like it's so pointed in such weird ways. I just, yeah, it's a very interesting world. But yeah, that's why I think this is really important, and I'm so glad we could all jump on this. And thank you, Shaka. Honestly, like I didn't know you guys knew each other until obviously you told me, but it's just you've been such a source of education that I never, especially at school, because again, growing up in England, all you learn about is like, yeah, World War and like kings and queens, but not about the stuff that again Great Britain was very much responsible for. And
Well,
yeah,
you know, it's the holiday season now, so it's like people are feeling like they want to give, they want to make a difference, and what we want to do is we want to build 100 homes, we want to build an orphanage, we want to start a farming business for these people, and we also want to do a microfinance business.
yeah.
So we're able to help them to start small businesses. We give them microfinance loans with no interest so they can actually start their businesses. Because they don't, you see, they're living in tents, like they don't have an address to go to a bank and say, hey, I want a loan, right? And, you know, tomorrow is the 24th to 25th is obviously Christmas. It's also my birthday. Um, and
Wait. Christmas?
yeah.
I mean, I like Christmas. I find holidays quite funny sometimes. You were born on the 25th. Sorry, I was just going to ask you questions about what that's like, because it's very interesting when people are born on like on New Year or on Christmas. Like,
What for
not
Christmas?
their birthday, but it's yeah.
Hey, it's one of those things. My mom, when I was younger, because I was born in Barbados, she was like, "Yeah, you was born on the 24th," and she said I was born on the 24th throughout my childhood, so that I could actually have a birthday. Because if she just said I was born on Christmas, you don't get a birthday. Then
Yeah, but you don't get double presents if you're born on that day either, because you're like, wow, it's both in one.
too close,
Oh,
right?
but that is the sweetest thing. Your mother, that is like, that's lying for a good reason. That's really sweet.
And then
That's
and then
sweet.
when I finished being a child, she was like, "Yeah, you're really born on Christmas. You was born at 12:30 on Christmas night." And I was like, "All right, cool." But what I was gonna say to say all that is actually, if you guys have time over the next few days, we can just do a few lives and bring just a few different people and keep speaking about it because
Please, please,
like
please.
it gets no sustained press attention. It gets no sustained media attention. And when you have like, you know, all of these people who's living in these camps and all we have to do is talk about it and we can build houses like this, is like, look at the juxtaposition. Like that is camp, horrible, just people living on top of each other, no amenities or anything. And then this is like farmland and houses and solar panels and everything they would need. So there's no reason why we can't just bring a bunch of our friends, keep talking about it, and let people know that we actually care about other people in the world rather than just like immediately what's around us. Because I think naturally, especially even as children, we naturally care about other people. And then as adults, you're like, no, you must just care about your family. You must just care about money. You must just care about you. And it's like children always want to share. And then we get older and then we're like, no, it's mine. And it's like, well, actually, for everybody in the West who's watching this, there's no tech industry without Congo. There's none. It just doesn't exist. There'll be no phones. There'll be no tech companies. There'll be no Instagram. There'll be no Tesla. There'll be no Microsoft. There'll be no Amazon, right? And these people are the victims of that. So Congo, just to give people context, is the richest country in the world in terms of mineral resources in the ground. And then in terms of GDP, it's the poorest country in the world. Just Google it now. So
Like, that is the most insane thing. It's the thing that makes the most money in the world, but the poorest country. Like, you know how like usually you get toys or stuff and it would say like made in China or made in Taiwan. Do you get that on your phone? Like you don't. There isn't like a trade. Like that's kind of been a thing that again, if people know about it, probably not. I mean, I wonder how many people actually realize that. I mean,
it, it, it
I
should say,
always feel like, you know how like on cigarettes when they put warning messages, like when you buy an iPhone, when it just gives you a little like warning thing of like this is where this comes from. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Like
via the Congo.
oh, like and I know like growing up eating meat, I I didn't know what it was. Like I didn't actually understand like if I saw an animal that that's what I was eating.
Right.
Like I'm a meat eater. I was, and like it's kind of come in and out my life. But I would eat it like 3 meals a day. But when I have kids, there is no way I'm gonna give them meat before they understand what it is,
Right.
like where it comes from. It's a very
It comes from this. People don't understand that this device comes from this. Like they don't understand. They just think
yeah,
iPhone.
I think it just that pretty Apple store with the
Job, all this stuff.
very pretty made, but it's
Right.
yeah.
So I think what we need people who are watching this to do, and we'll come live again tomorrow maybe. What we need people who are watching this to do is they need to click the link in all of our bios.
Yeah.
They need to put that link into their own bio on Instagram. So there's
Yeah,
1,500
Reddit. Guys,
here.
if you don't have money to give, like there's a lot of people who are going through a lot. If you don't have the money to spare, even if it's $1, anything, just share it. Talk about it.
100%.
Yeah, make your own video. Make your own video as well. That's important as well. We would love to hear you guys'
Yes,
voices.
Right.
exactly.
If you make your own videos, we will share your videos, and we have lots of friends that will share your videos
Yeah.
because we're all kind of doing this together. And then also, as well as sharing and putting the link in your bio, you can also just put hashtag Gift to Goma on Twitter. Get people talking about it. Get people looking it up, thinking about what Goma is, what that is as a place. Because without that place, there's no phones, there's no green energy cars, there's none of that stuff. So it's good that we actually are more conscious and more aware, because what happened in Congo is the largest loss of life since World War II, and nobody knows about it. Between 1998 and 2003, 7 million people died because of mineral war conflict. And so, these children that we're taking care of, some of the children, their parents have been murdered so that people can get access to minerals, like literally. So I was in one of the houses speaking to one of the children's grandma, and I was like, yeah, so what happened to his parents? And she's like, his parents were killed up there in an area called Beni, so that for minerals. And I was just like, and she's like,
So
now,
like
now my
when
grandma.
I started learning about blood diamonds and stuff, it's the same thing. People's lives are not just at stake, are being lost for no reason over these kind of things. And look, again, I'm not saying to throw away your phone and never buy one again, but it's also to make a difference and help and make other people aware, because
People can use these devices for good. You don't just have to use them to scroll. You don't just have to use them to, text
it's like
people.
just judge people through a phone when you don't actually know them. Like that's genuinely like the hate wouldn't exist if people really knew each other. I don't think anyone would hate anyone if they really got to know someone, unless they are actually going out and trying to hurt people. But you know what I mean? Like it doesn't exist. When you don't like someone, it's because you don't understand them properly.
Right.
Usually, you know.
And I think that if people understood where their phones, their cars, their cameras, their TVs were coming from, they might understand that there's a human casualty because of that. And as I'm saying, I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, because we all are living it in a technological world. But just as long as we understand how that world exists and that there's other people in that world,
But can I also say what scares me the most as well is like the amount in which these things are created, but because they have higher capacity and energy that they burn out faster, so that not only are more people using them, but they're being used, and then like the next one comes out. It's like obviously the most important thing that the people like who are suffering the most, but generally the whole system is rigged. Obviously, we know that, but it's I don't know. It's a horrible.
It is a system within which corporations want to make more profit,
Yes.
and because of that, people are suffering more losses because, as you said, they're always trying to come out with a new thing. So they
Can't
just
put a price on a life. That's the thing. But you can put a price on a fucking phone.
right, 100%. Anwar, just to ask you a question quickly, um, when did you first start realizing, where minerals for phones and cars and stuff was coming from?
I mean, I I the first time I really ever heard about it was a friend of mine who's Congolese who explained to me when he went there for the first time that he was gonna that basically they're rinsing the whole entire earth of it, of all types of stuff, whether it be stones that people are buying here, like coltan, all types of stuff. And then obviously, from your page, I really saw the real information. He was just explaining to me.
By the way, wait, and let me just also like say again, if anyone's also listening to this that wants to be educated and also informed in the most amazing way, this man's page alone, without even knowing him as a friend, is truly an insight into things that we all need to be aware of generally. Like I've always felt like to be a human, to want to be a little bit better or to make a difference every day. This man is like, you speak the truth, but it's also thank you. You've educated so many people, especially we're two of them.
Well, you see, this is little Lola, and Lola's parents were both killed for minerals, and you know he's a little cutie. Lola means paradise in Swahili.
That's it.
Wow, it's beautiful.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Lola means paradise in Swahili, and so it's like we just all of these children, all of these children. Let me show you all of these children. We've adopted them all now so that they don't have to, because they were going hungry. They didn't have any kind of safety system, support system. We've been getting them to doctors. We've been feeding them, and they're all like, you know, they're children. They have their own lives and hopes and dreams, but a lot of the time, they don't get kind of any attention outside of like being the objects of poverty. And that's what we don't want as well. We want to actually change the narrative and start telling people stories. That's why we interview the children. We ask them what they want to be when they grow up, what type of foods that they like, all of these types of things. So when we all go, because we on this live,
When I went to Uganda and I spoke to a lot of the girls there who had come from South Sudan and had found like refuge in Uganda, but like a lot of them, you know, they were like the lucky ones who had been able to do that, right? Every single one, like, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a female football player, like, and not to say this in any bad way, but they all wanted to do things to make a difference, right? Whereas like they were so, I mean, look, I know 100% I took my education for granted. Definitely. I had no idea, like, you know, the fact that I had books and books, bags and bags of books that like there were just so many, and like there's a classroom of kids that just one book, like
right,
it's
and they're all sharing it. And
yeah.
Yo, I think what would be amazing too is just like, you know, to continue to, there's 16,000 people. I mean, sorry,
16.
It will be
1,600.
You're all going to talk about it, guys. You're going
Yeah,
to
but yeah, everyone that's on here right now, you know,
spread it
just
like COVID.
put it in your bio, put the link in your bio, talk about this stuff, because it's really like what we were talking about as well, is that we want this to be a people's movement as well. You know, we want people to really be a part of this as much as they can, and it really does take one of you guys that are watching this to be a part of this, to really make a difference as well. You know, it's
Like, you know, when we were talking about this before,
you
like,
want
I really hope, and I like you, like that. I really want to go out there and actually be there. But also, we were saying about having, because again, it's an amazing thing to be able to like make a difference. But when you actually get to see what it does and see it from their eyes, like, you know,
yeah.
go there.
We're definitely gonna go out there. We'll see all this come to life. You know.
100%. When we have the children's home built, when we have this whole community built. So if all 1,500 people in here put the link in their bio, make their own video, and you don't even have to put it on your main page, just put it on your stories and just put give to Goma and start to talk about this, because
Tag us, because again, we can reshare your videos, guys. Please.
And if you know of any people that you think that would be interested in this, then DM them this live so that they can actually see kind of what we're talking about.
Oh, like before we even end this, which we're not about to, but just tell me how I save it and repost it again.
So when you leave the live,
yeah,
say delete or share. So you just say share, or it says delete, or you'll say delete or post.
Yeah.
So
right. Can I also ask a question? Obviously, with how fast technology is moving, why can't we have phones without? Why can't we have phones without these minerals? Like, why isn't there a way to take? I don't.
They haven't yet, because they didn't see it through. If the casualties of this was like European or Arab or Chinese, maybe they would have found a different way of doing it. But because there's not really any care about the casualties of this, they're just like, let's keep doing it. Like, I'll give you an example. Maybe they haven't advanced.
Also, I say one more thing that's fucked up? I guarantee there is a way of doing it, and they know it is, but this makes more money because it's cheaper and they sell it for more.
Definitely.
Right. I mean, oil and green energy, like that kind of thing. So, you know, I think, like, I'll give you an example. Rubber comes from trees. The reason why Congo was first colonized in 1885 was for rubber so that they could have tires. So without Congo, there'd be no motor cars today because they needed the rubber to make the tires for like Firestone and all these big tire companies. And you can make, now we have synthetic rubber, but synthetic rubber, unfortunately, you can't use it on plain tires because they go from being up really high and being really cold to down on the ground, and they heat up really fast, and synthetic rubber explodes. And right now it's only plant-free, like natural rubber that can actually take that temperature change and have you have a safe landing. So I don't know what's going on with this coltan or this cobalt, but they use it for batteries for green energy cars. They use it to coat planes and coat military jets and all military vehicles. They use it for X-ray machines and X-ray scanners that you have at airports. They use it for printers. They use it for computers, cameras, basically. Right. Basically, anything that has a circuit in it is using this stuff, this tech. So right now, it's not going anywhere. But what we can do is we can start to learn more about it, study conflict minerals, study coltan, study cobalt, and also as we build out this village as a collective, because me and Cara were speaking about it earlier, we're gonna bring in more and more and more and more people as we build out this village, and we have a hub. We're gonna have the people who live there start to tell their stories, and we'll just share their stories, because I think that that's better, you know.
Because their stories not only deserve to be told, but are way better, like actual stories that we haven't heard a million times redone over and over again. Like, no more remakes, guys. Let's actually experience something real from someone else's perspective other than the same people over and over again. Sorry to say that. I'm a part of that too, so I understand. Can I also say, I knew a lot, like a couple of years ago, about like cobalt, but not again the severity of it. Still don't understand. Have never actually done any research about what it is. I'm an aggressive person. Like, I knew what it was on the periodic table, but I didn't know anything about it. So, guys, do research as well because it's fascinating.
Click the link in our bio. It will bring you to this page, right? We started this earlier on today, about 6 or 7 hours ago, and we've done about $10,000 an hour. We're aiming for $1 million because that can build 100 houses for people and help us to build our orphanage. And so, click the link on the in our bios. You'll be able to go here. You'll be able to share it. You'll be able to donate if you have anything to donate. But the main thing is we need people to start making their own videos and sharing it. And if you speak a different language, make a video in your own language. That's important.
Okay, wait. Also, I have a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, when my bank doesn't think I'm frauding them with my card, if whoever makes an $8,000 donation to do a house, and well, again, I don't know if you'll be into this as well, but like I'll donate my time on a Skype. I know that's not worth $8,000, but like anything, I obviously, do you know what I mean? Or just like, if anyone is able to do that, I will personally thank you and talk to you and tell you a really good joke, which I made up, which you're not going to know until you pay that money, honey.
This is the thing. People would pay $8,000 for a dinner with you or all kinds of things. But if you pay $8,000, you can build someone a home.
And I'll be way more entertaining when you build someone a home and not because you've just done it for some weird reason. You know what I mean?
So like, look, this is the hashtag. It's give to
Look,
go.
me and Al could do it together if you get it. I was both the same.
I would love to do that. You know, I would do that.
What I mean?
As
We'll
you
write a
can
song, we'll
see,
style.
all
Guys,
these beautiful people. Anwar, there's Kerry Hilson, Anwar's sister Bella, Maya, Orjane, Bria. There's a whole bunch of people who are sharing this. But as you can see right now, we don't have any of you people who are watching this with your own videos. So we need you people.
where are you guys? Where are
On
you?
the hashtag.
Then
Guys, I know it's Christmas, but honestly, you probably are all on your phones most of the time. So come on, get creative. Get creative. do a little dance.
Where's
Make
where,
it.
where's the TikTokers? We need Twitter people and TikTokers.
Anyone. That's
Oh my God, please, please.
TikTok is active, you know.
By the
So
way, though, why is TikTok nicer? For some reason, I don't really understand it, but like,
I'm not sure a person.
it's young, nice people trying to make people happy, I think.
but
I like.
that's what
I like.
this is.
I
This is
like.
what we should be doing. Exactly. We need to learn from the youth, guys.
100%. And if you guys have any, you know, it's like we also we're here to just continue this and push this in whatever capacity in whatever ways we can. So if just you know if you have any questions, you know,
Or also any suggestions or anything else like you think, like, please, because honestly, like, we all should be working together to make this the best we can.
Right. Just DM us because like we're not such a huge organization that you'll never be able to speak to us, and it's
By
like
the way,
a
but sorry to ask you this right away. Why don't you make an Instagram
for it.
that we can all log on to so we can see, like,
Oh, that makes sense. All right.
should I run your social media?
Only if I can run yours.
Please, because I'm not good at it.
All right, I'll do that.
Wait,
but
should I check if it's? Oh, no, I can't do that right now. Wait, hold on. We should definitely do that quickly before someone else takes it. But yeah, that would be cool because then we can actually see everyone's ideas.
questions, your videos that you guys make and are making now, you know, all that. We need that.
just letting you know, I'm doing it
Yeah.
right now.
Yes, please. Please. I was gonna say, I was like, okay, I don't know. I was gonna say, should we invite someone on if they've donated? But how do we know if they have? Not that that matters, but it should. Guys, make a video and then we'll invite you on.
Someone's just taking it, of course.
No, don't lie.
They've taken it.
We'll figure something out. Probably, you know, once we end this.
Hey, whoever you are, give Goma. Well,
Get back.
give it back. Really? Is that real? Is that a thing?
I'm gonna keep it a whole buck.
Hold on. That can't be right.
Whoever did that is twisted. I'm telling you.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up. But what about two as in Tio?
We'll figure it out because whichever one we decide is the official one, and they can have whichever one they have. It doesn't matter. So
Someone said someone put on a thing, go give to Goma official. Is that taken? Were you saying that someone said that in a comment? Anyway, I don't know if that's actually already a thing. I hope it is.
okay, so let's wrap this up. We can come live again tomorrow, and we can plan more things. If we can do, thank you very much. If we can do this a few times, and we'll get different people to come in and speak about this and learn about this and share and be happy.
We'll have some surprise guests if you donate though.
Click the link in our bio and donate. Thank
you,
Anwar.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh,
share and donate, please. Thank you, guys.
much love, y'all.